Carolina, I said that right for once. Welcome to the Colorado Food Magazine, episode 30. We're here with Carolina Zubiate, the winner of the Bean Summit contest, and sous chef at Uncle Ramen. We're here. We're here early this morning to interview you, to tell the world about your story, to tell the world about your history, what you want to do. You've joined us recently with our association. You've also been part of our, started to become, or are part of our leadership council. Mm-hmm. We want to talk about just your life and what you see, what inspires you, and where you, in a perfect world, what would you do with the Hispanic Chefs Association? So let's start. So let's talk about you. Where were you born? Where are you from?
So my name is Carolina. I was born in Lima, Peru. I was born and raised there until I was 13. I first moved to the United States, to Virginia, lived there for a couple years. We made the transition to Maryland, and about 7 years ago, I moved to Denver, Colorado.
Really? Mm-hmm. So that's a big difference. Mm-hmm. So you were born in Lima, Peru. Have you climbed, I asked right before this, have you climbed Machu Picchu?
Machu Picchu, I have not, but I do plan on going soon. But because of where I was going to school, when you graduate, you go as a group, as your final trip to Cusco, and it's one giant thing that you do with your class before you all separate ways.
Kind of like the senior prom, almost.
Right, but better,
of
for
course,
a whole week.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that would be the ultimate.
So that would have been great, but since I didn't get to do that, I just recently went back to Peru for the first time in 16 years. So.
Oh wow, how was that?
Phenomenal. Unreal.
Really?
Someone once said to me that I am now more American than I am Peruvian because I've lived here longer than I've lived in Peru, and that kind of changed my life. So going back to Peru and seeing
where you came from, the roots.
Yeah, it was really nice.
What'd you do while you were there?
I saw family. I ate until I made myself sick so I can eat more.
I found this out recently when one of our interviews. Some of the best chefs in the world, rated by the magazines, are Peruvian. I didn't know that, and here we are talking to you. So, when you said you came to the U.S. when you were 13, what were the hardest parts? Talk to us about that transition.
I think the hardest part is there is a culture shock, and I think it's different from seeing it on movies and what you expect America to be to when you finally get here, So I think the hardest transition was I thought I knew the language from taking a class, but once you go make a conversation with someone, it's just I don't even know how to say hi,
So how did you learn it? Because we were just talking about this a few minutes ago. Your diction, your pronunciation, and it's just amazing. I would never know. How did you learn that?
I took my whole first summer after my first year in school here. I watched a lot of MTV, and there's a TRL show back then.
What does TRL stand for?
It was pretty much at 3 p.m. one guy talking about music, pop scene, and he would bring in Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears, all these people that have the best American accents. So I would just try to speak like them, or listen to the music playing there. And then I would go to Walmart and practice my English there.
Really?
Yeah.
Like almost every day?
I would say every other or on the weekends.
But a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
Would you go to pick something like, how do you say this?
I would mainly just go up to someone that worked there and be like, hi, where's the restroom? Or hi, where are the crayons? Anything that I think would help me be more confident to go up to someone at school and be like, hi, can I use a pencil, please? Or do you want to be my class? Want to work together on this for class? I never had that confidence before that because I wasn't comfortable with the language,
And so you just did this on your own. Did somebody, did your parents push you, whoever you're...
I think it was a self-thrive after noticing the big challenge that it was for me to speak the first 3 months that I was in school here, so I think it was just self
confidence and just
Just trying to be more
self-drive.
confident. Yeah.
Okay. So how long do you think it took you before you became comfortable doing that? That is a great way to do that. I never thought about that.
I would say maybe 2 years. And when I finally got comfortable with, you know, speaking to people, my parents decided to move to Maryland. So then it was a complete 180 again, because it's two complete different cities, states, so it's complete different cultures already.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Just within the U.S., there's so many cultures.
Yeah.
And
So it was crazy, you know, because I finally am comfortable to go out and speak to people and making relationships, and then I have to start all over again. So it just felt like backtracking, you know?
Right. When did you decide along those lines? Okay, so you're learning English. That's a great way to do that. We're coming out with the Food and Beverage Language Institute to help people, but that's just an additional anecdotal way to really learn English. So how did that help you gain confidence in doing what you're doing? And has it helped you in your career, having that type of thing, becoming a chef? And what made you decide to become a chef?
I think the thing that really made me want to become a chef was moving here away from the Peruvian culture and how much I missed cooking at home, you know, or like my grandpa cooking for me. And I realized how good it brought people together. You know, every Sunday there was 20 of us having lunch at my mom's house, at her parents' house, you know, and then it just slowly kind of decreases. And it's no one's fault, you know, but those are my favorite memories, food and lots of people, you know. So I kind of just wanted to bring that to other people, you know. So I think mainly what made me want to become a chef is my family.
Right, so they're the ones that inspired you. You said your grandpa. Do you have a favorite food or favorite memory from that besides the every Sunday?
I love ceviche, as any Peruvian should.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think ceviche is probably my favorite food.
Really? Sure. Do you have a favorite secret recipe that you can't, that we can reveal
I'll
to
email it to you.
Okay, there you go. that's so your grandfather and your family was your inspiration. We love, you know, I think all Latin, Hispanic. Actually, I think all cultures. Not I think, I know.
Yeah.
Love get-togethers, family get together. That's the best memories in the world. My son and I and family. That's why we started the Latin Supper Club. It's just turn your phones off. Don't talk about politics. It's family, it's friends, it's dinner. We just had another one last week, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was Alan was there, and so was my son Drew, and a bunch of people. It was just a fantastic 3 to 4 hours. The time flies by because it's about the journey. Pablo and Chef Nora, Chef Aki, they just pulled off a magnificent job, and you know you'll be involved in those as we talk about that, and especially you being part of our initial Hispanic Chef Association Leadership Council.
Yeah.
So where'd you go to school for culinary?
So I actually didn't go to culinary school. I went to community school for a couple, not even years, just semesters. I took about.
So you went
4
through the
classes.
accreditation route.
Yeah, I went to community college for hospitality management in Montgomery College in Maryland, and through that I went to visit Hilton Garden Inn, which had just opened, so they had multiple availabilities for jobs. So I just applied because it was 2-3. It's like here. I live and work 6 minutes from home. Same thing happened when I was 18. It was 6 minutes from my house. So I just applied, and I got a job as the complimentary breakfast girl. So I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday shifts from 5 a.m. to 11, you know, and I would peek my nose in to look in the kitchen. So then from that, I became like the room service person. And then one day, one of the cooks walked out before all the orders went in. And since I'd been watching them so much.
Like literally walked out, just like done?
Well, we closed at 9. Like that's when the kitchen was shut. But they called right at 8:59. So I put the order. He's like, I'm not making it. I'm leaving. So I made it because I had been watching them so much. So I just made the food, and that's what allowed me to let them be like, all right, fine, like let's let her cook, you know?
Right.
So they'd let me cut fruit for multiple hours off the clock for me to learn until eventually I
Become-
slowly
Learned all the
pushed
skill
myself.
sets.
Yeah.
Yours seems like you're a very self-driven initiative to get things done. So, but I want to go back to the school. What was the hardest part about school and the English? And you'd mentioned people picking on you.
Yeah, I had to take a lot of ESOL classes. Excuse me. Because I moved here and I skipped half a grade because of my math attribute side, but my English I still had to take uh, English as a second language classes. So I ended up always finding myself being picked on the most by other Hispanics. And
Really?
I
Why do you think that is?
I don't know if it was the different in cultures or like the different in slangs or my
Wh-
appearance. I don't know.
When you say difference in cultures, can you define that a little bit more? Are
Yeah,
you talking
I-
about like from the Mexican culture to the Peruvian culture?
No, I just mean every single country has their own cultures. So I feel like in Virginia, there was very like one certain culture driven, and I just was secluded. I was the only Peruvian, so I had no one to relate to, and I I was there for the last 3 months of the year. So by that,
Okay.
I was already on my own bubble, I was the new girl, I was the new kid,
Right.
and like they were already comfortable, so it seemed that I felt like I was going to be more welcomed, but instead I was just left to figure it out.
How did you figure it out?
um I don't think I did for a while. I think I just learned
Nobody
to
does
deal
in
with
life.
it.
We just learn different support systems
Yeah.
and team and family.
But what was
Yeah.
really nice was my grandpa never stopped waiting for me at the bus stop, so it was
Oh.
nice to like know that he was always going to be there.
So you had a foundation. You had
Yeah.
somebody there that you felt safe and secure.
Yeah.
No matter what happened during the day, you're like, you know what, Grandpa's there. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so that was nice.
Well, what's his name?
My grandpa's name was Victor.
Victor? Well, very good. So I can see every time you think of him, you get a little emotional. That's what family's for, and that's part of the environment we're trying to create here at the Hispanic Restaurant Association, Hispanic Chefs Association, because we want to provide a support network. And then we've talked. It's probably been a month now, and
Yeah.
or 2 months since you've been involved with us. You contacted us, and so why did you contact us? How'd you hear about us and all that?
So I heard about you guys because I went to an event at my old chef's pop-up shop at Mercantile. He had a ramen pop-up. His name is Rusty Hicks, and he introduced me to Manny, the chef at Bellota in Denver, and he lightly told me how he was involved with the Hispanic Resource Association.
Restaurant Association.
Restaurant Association, excuse me. And I was like, great, let me go look at it. So I just went to his Instagram, checked it out. I saw that you guys mainly support a community that I would have loved to have as a younger cook, and I figured that if I can now give any of my time or any sort of knowledge or skill to anyone to assist them get better, why wouldn't I,
Yeah, that's the
even
exact attitude Manny has. That's perfect.
or even if it's to provide just a helping hand, somewhere that's needed, why not, I feel like that was why I was interested to reach out.
I normally don't ask this question because I have, because we do what we do. We know what we do. We're very supportive. We really are engaged with the chefs, the community, the restaurants. What do you see that's different that we're doing of words versus actions?
I think that you guys are really acting on the fact of not just us spreading the knowledge, but also helping us learn different things and inspire us to continue to inspire other people.
How are
You
we
know?
doing that?
The first time I met you, I went to one of you guys's
Oh, the leadership
Yeah.
and education forum.
yeah,
Yes.
where Bobby Stuckey spoke, and that was very inspiring to me, which ended up me taking notes and bringing it to the cooks here at Uncle Restaurant, and that has helped us also focus and leadership and how you can build your work life and your life balance, and I think it's always important to bring different points of that. So he was there, you brought people from Shamrock, people, with
Ca-
so many
and
different.
Caleb Benton, the menu engineering.
Everything was just so. I think little things like that is so good to continue to have, because you're never going to stop learning. And the more I learn, the more I want to continue to teach, So I think that's how you guys are making a difference, is by doing the actions that we all want to have or be involved in.
Right, and that's part of our HRA Leadership and Education Forum. There's books to read, there's things to learn, because no matter how old you are or even how young you are, there's always something to learn. And once you realize that, then you're going to be much better off in life.
Exactly.
Also, you also participated in the Bean Summit.
I did.
And you won.
I did.
So that was great. So tell me about that experience from your perspective.
Oh, that was really cool. I think, so my perspective on it was that the coolest part was that we could do whatever we wanted with the beans that you provided and the meat that you provided. So
It actually was Barber's Foods. So I just want to give them full
thank
credit.
You.
Yeah.
But I liked that I was able to do whatever I wanted. There wasn't a specific, appetizer, entree type thing that I had to do. And I was able to relate my culture with something that was such a cool event,
Oh yeah, they want to make it now an annual event. It went off so successfully because they gave us about 3 weeks to pull it off, maybe 3.5. But actually, when I say we, you and the chefs actually pulled it off. I want to give full credit where credit is due, because without the creativity, the skill, the passion, and showing up and doing it and following directions, it was amazing. I mean, 5280, the Denver Post, the 9 News, and her name is Miss Garofalo. I can't remember her first name, for Colorado Days on 9 News. They all commented on, they were just blown away by the creativity here. And I got emails afterwards. And so were the sponsors, MSU. It was just an incredible event. And obviously you won the prize of I think it was $1,000, right? Well, good for you.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And thank you for the opportunity.
No, thank you. The chefs are the one, really the stars of the show. And that's our whole goal at the Chefs Association, not to make us the focus, but the chefs and the community. And that's really what we're trying to do.
I think the most fun part was meeting the other chefs and seeing how creative they got, and how much fun everyone had. That was the coolest part of the event.
Yeah.
Seeing how I didn't feel any stress. I just felt like everyone was having fun. And I don't know, that was the coolest part. I feel like I continue to speak to at least 3 of them,
Oh, really?
So, that's pretty great.
Yeah, and then Sharif was here last night.
Sharif was last night for dinner. Yeah.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's what I like. That's what I'm really loving: the connection, the networking, the opportunities, and just support you feel for one another. And also, we just recently appointed you as part of our Hispanic Leadership Council for the Hispanic Chefs Association. But there's also some criteria we do. You have to show a lot of initiative. You have to demonstrate leadership, which you have, and you have to be connected and willing to help others, serve others. So give me your thoughts on what we're doing there.
Well, I feel like right now I do that at work, and it's really going to help me be able to do that outside and with this leadership program. And I think what's made me really good at that is my current leaders, my chefs, because they have really pushed me to see everyone as an individual, as opposed to as a bunch of cooks, or every single cook is the same person. They're not. Everyone has different feelings, emotions, personalities. So I think differentiating people's emotions and needs has really helped me be able to lead people, because the respect that you want is what you want to give, right?
Right.
So,
be the leader you want to be treated like.
Correct. So I always tell them that I will give you guys the respect you continue to give me, and then we can continue to learn together. I will teach you the world, and we will learn whatever you want, as long as we have the mutual respect. So I think that's what really makes a difference in this kitchen, and I would like to share that sort of respect that we have here with other individuals, under this association.
Right. That's exactly what you're doing. I love it between you, Manny, Pablo. I mean, many others. Those are just three that came quickly to mind. Otherwise, I'll be going, I forgot them all. We talk about, and I invited you to write for us on our HRA Leadership and Education blog that'll be on the site, your leadership insights. And we have 5 pillars we're trying to cover that I think cover everything else is a subset of that, but leadership, education, teamwork, relationship building, and then finally the output of that is the cultural ethos, or how everybody feels through the day. What do you consider a good leader?
I think a good leader has to also be able to relate to everyone. In order to be a leader, you have to be able to do what you expect out of them, I think, and knowing how to push someone in the right way, as opposed to breaking them down to get what you want out of them. So
inspiration type,
correct,
and
I don't think
direction.
Correct. I think yes. I just don't. I think if there's a better way of communicating and getting the point across, allowing someone to think like you, 1,000 steps ahead. Seeing the faults before they come. When you come across something, as opposed to freaking out, is where can I go from this? How can I reassess? How can I reset and move forward, as opposed to it just being the end of the world? I feel like that makes a good leader, seeing and reminding them that there's going to be a million things that aren't going to go your way, but
right.
You're always going to have to do more.
Adapt, improvise, and overcome is I always use. That's one of my life mantras. So how do you do that here? Do you talk to people? Is there a training program? Is it just things you've learned and internally how to lead and the others?
I think a lot of my leading comes from my dad, and then also from what I've learned at this specific restaurant, because we have I owe a lot to my boss Tyler and Kevin, because they have really set a standard as to how it should go, at least for me. Well,
that's great. They're willing to teach you.
Correct. So what I mean by that is, I used to think that helping or leading someone was by assisting them, but really, how are they going to learn what I'm helping them do if they're not doing it themselves? So it's kind of teaching them how you would do their
show them, then let them do that.
Exactly. And then it's okay. I would think this way, so I would do it this way until you comfortably feel how to provide what I'm asking you to do.
So
in
a
this
standard
amount of time. Exactly.
And then standard operating procedures, and then the big picture, the vision, and the mission of what you're doing here. So what's your favorite part about working here?
I really like how this is like a really safe space for me, and I really like that I'm able to be creative here while still being able to do really dope ramen that they have here.
Yeah, you gave me a meal last time I was here. That was fantastic. I was like, oh my goodness.
But I'm always able to be creative and bring in different cuisines. It's not just about ramen. It's not just, a lot of Peruvian cuisine has Asian influenced food. So we've been able to incorporate some of that into some of our apps. Some of our cooks are able to get creative and put their own dishes on the menu as well. So my favorite thing is that we are all collectively doing something to provide a fantastic last task.
Right. And meal. And one thing I did notice when I came here a few weeks ago, dropped some stuff off, then we talked, and then just been here a couple times. I've noticed there's people that have been here a long time, which makes for it means there's a good culture, because in the culinary industry or the food and beverage, it's a high turnover. Why do you think that is?
I think we've created a very, I don't want to repeat myself, but I think this is a very safe space. And what I mean by that is, if you're having a bad day, you just have to come in. We can talk, we can cook it off, we can walk about it. It's not just a place where you come cook, it's a place where it's family, And I think we know how to balance the difference as well when it comes to work.
Which goes back to you saying you recognize individuals
Mm-hmm.
and people and bad days, and you're willing to work through that. Well, that sounds like great leadership. It really is, and that's what you mean by a safe space. Because I was going to ask that question, like, what do you mean by safe space? And that's great. That's a great cultural that you've done here. The cultural ethos, as we like to say.
And it's even before me. You know, we have Justin here right now, who's been here for
10
almost
years.
10 years.
I know we talked about that. I forgot to do the pictures with it. We did take a picture with him, but that's what I noticed. That everybody's happy. Very come over and
How much
greet
does
me.
that say about the owner of this, about Tommy Lee? You know, he's. I
Tell me
think
about
he's-
him.
He's just great. I think he's allowed us to do. He allows us to run this place under his standards, but as our own home. You know, which feels fantastic. Someone to leave you that big pressure, but it feels good. You know.
He allows you to grow, create, and be yourself.
Exactly, but it's a lot of pressure. So
Is
he's
it?
someone that I really look up to. So I try to do my best for him.
Is that self-created pressure, or is that pressure from just
No, it's
the
self-created.
volume?
It's definitely self-created. I think I'm my biggest critic, so I'm always gonna try to think I'm not doing enough, so I can do more and more.
Yeah. Do you obviously you're very focused, you're very well spoken, you're very all these things that we look for in a leader. Do you read or listen to anything that helps?
I watch a lot of reality TV shows, and I read a lot of cookbooks.
Soap operas don't count, so
But you know, life balance is good. So
that is true. Okay, yeah. I
Uh,
retract my last statement. It's,
but I do read a lot of cookbooks. I try to keep I don't ever want to stop learning about cooking or anything in general. So I try to pick up a cookbook or an audiobook every so often.
What type of cookbooks? Is there a particular favorite, or are you just like absorbing? That's professional development, though.
You know what's really cool is we just had a secret, like a secret Santa where we switched books. So I was giving a Thai cuisine book. One of our cooks just left, so he gave me an Italian cuisine. So right now I'm just flipping back and forth in between a little bit of everything.
Now, when you read those books, do you kind of like blend what you learn and bring it here, or you do it at home? You do?
I do. I mean, the Italian I've kept at home, you know, because the pasta side I can just make there. And here we get really great noodles.
Oh, I bet. Oh, yeah, it was great.
So they don't need me to make them, unfortunately. But yeah, the Thai cuisine, the blend's definitely right into here. We have a few, like the chili shrimp that we have is a Thai jam shrimp. So it's like Thai influenced already.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a particular favorite? But that's like picking your favorite kid. I mean, it's impossible, but,
Well,
this minute, I like this
I
one.
would
This
say
one.
our Kobe Bryant, that's Tommy's dish, is the spicy chicken. But my personal ramen favorite is our cow soy. It's a vegan ramen, but it's phenomenal. It's like a curry blend in a ramen.
So it really
It's
is a
phenomenal.
fusion of these different cultures into one.
Yep.
Oh, nice. That's very, very nice. So let's keep talking. That's well. I'm blown away by the creativity. As always, the chefs, they're generals, they're artists, they're commanders. There's all these different parts, and also the doers of all these things that within the kitchen. What do you want to do in the future? Stay here, or of course you probably want to stay here because you like it. I mean, obviously, but in a perfect world, what would you want to do in life besides a chef, and what would you want to do in a perfect world with the Hispanic Chefs Association as one of the leaders?
In a perfect world, I would like to be a mom soon.
Oh, nice.
And I would like to continue cooking, even so.
Nice. Well, that kid's going to be like one lucky kid. So.
And as far as the association, I would like to keep helping people realize that they can achieve so much more than they think they can. Because when you're young, you think that you can do everything tomorrow. You know, like, I'll just do that tomorrow. I've been telling myself I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow for 10 years, you know? But had I started
You have a membership and you just haven't used it? They love people like you.
That's all.
Okay.
But like I wish, had I known what I know now, or had I had someone push me or tell me the things that I would like to tell people in their younger cooking career, I think would be really helpful, because
So what would you tell an 18-year-old you, or 16?
read more
Read more what?
cooking books.
Okay, what else? What about
If you don't, I think cooking school is great, but if there is something that's keeping you from it, whether it's you can't afford it or you don't know if that's you're interested. I bought Culinary Institute of America university books, and I learned at home what
that's
they
a
teach
lot
you in
of
college,
initiative.
and they will teach you how to poach an egg. They will teach you food costs. They will teach you how to interact with your coworkers once you become a manager. Little things like that. There's so much. There's so much that you can learn without having someone be your teacher. As long as you have the drive to want to keep pushing yourself, there's no stopping you. Once you're passionate about something, like, I became addicted to just wanting to learn more and more, because I wanted to go to culinary school so bad, but I didn't have a social security. I didn't have anything. So for me, college would have been,
Hard,
it's just not,
not in that realm.
like it would have been $100,000 a year.
Right.
My parents can't afford that.
Oh, you were at the Bean Summit. I put you in touch, or we put you in
Mhm.
touch with the people over there about trying to get your degree. So hopefully that'll work out
Yeah.
long term for you.
We'll see.
So, yeah, we'll see. That's great. So MSU, if you're listening, so make sure you get that on fast track.
But like I didn't stop that from making me. I didn't stop not going to culinary school for letting me become a cook,
Obviously, yeah,
know?
but you're
So, and I always pushed. I always asked questions. I'm sure I made a lot of people annoyed by how much I asked and all the whys, because I was an annoying little kid.
but that's a
just wanting to know
natural
more.
intellectual curiosity. I find that fascinating that you would do that. You just, despite all these obstacles you had to overcome, you're learn English, you know the schooling, and now you're the sous chef here, and you have all this knowledge that you can package up, and all of a sudden now, through your actions, we asked you to be part of the Hispanic Leadership Council for the Chefs Association. So, in a perfect world, you want to help others, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I would love to help others and help them realize the resources that they have without them knowing that they do, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, just kind of point them in the right direction. Give them a North
Correct.
Star. Because once again, you can't drag people across. You can only help those that are willing to help
Right.
themselves.
If they are really passionate about it, they will continue to do it. I just want to be a resource that they can go to if they have any questions, I want to be able to be one of those people that they can lean on.
Right. Is there anything we need to do differently here at the council and the Restaurant Association?
No, I don't think so. I think that everything you guys are doing is going to continue to inspire and bring more people in, and I'm going to do my best to do that as well, bring more people to the next assembly, etc. But the more people will get involved and the more people talk about it, I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, we're going to have lots of competitions. We're going to have festivals. We have obviously are going to continue our Leadership and Education Forum, our restaurant training series. I mean, we have lots of restaurant groups and people in leadership positions helping us. I mean, from CCD to MSU to now Denver University to the certain Chamber of Commerce that are helping us. There's just a lot going on, and we always appreciate that support. So, what do you have for us? We're going to wrap this up. We've told your story. Very inspirational, by the way.
Thank you. All I have is thank you for this opportunity, and I think that this association has really even brought a lot for me so far in the past 2 months, and I can't wait to be able to do that for other people,
Right. Well, just think about how, in a perfect world, the needs, because you're in those positions, you know exactly what you need, and other people in your position, and how we can support that. We'll continue to do that. So,
Thank you.
okay, thank you.